Yeah, by also there's a Sinclair C5 that's for sale in Bournemouth, Dorset. This is one of the Evesham hotel pairs. And as you can see now, if you watch the previous videos, it did have writing down the sides and at the front. I've removed that, but I have retained it on the back. Reason for removal, again mentioned in previous videos, is basically to make it an easier sell. So I need to basically sell one of these to recoup my outlay on the pair, and then what I'll then do is I'll then restore the other one, including all the sign, writing, etc. Next year, do a full body off restoration, powder coat the whole lot, mint. But yeah, this one here, I just want to get it running, get it fully serviced, fix electronics, new tyres, replace some parts that were broken on it, and then sell it basically. So yeah, it's basically ready to go to a new owner. So all runs. That you can remove if you want to very easily with paint and stripper. Happy days. But yeah, it's basically it's normal Sinclair C5, new side stripes. It's got, as you can see here, it's got the front wheel cap. It's got the rear caps with 3D printed from Graham Garlic. So thank you, Graham, for those. They're top notch centre caps. On the back, it's got the original boot lock there with a replacement key. I think there might be 2 keys because there was a bunch of keys that came with the C5s. Again, 3D printed cover there. I've obviously cleaned the C5 to get it to this stage, but basically the new owner, as I don't want to do too much work, it's a lower end scale Sinclair C5 basically. The new owner can clean it, give it a real good deep scrub. They can also do things like, detailing, so like replacing things like washers and screws. Maybe take these off. I mean, they're original, take them off maybe and sort of detail them, paint them, that sort of stuff. But for me, I'm just wanting to get it running, serviced, ready to go. So you can just get in the Sinclair C5 and just go and enjoy it. And then if you want to do any work on it or paint anything or whatever, you can also do that at your leisure. Over winter, for example. It's got decent tyres on the back off a rally chopper, which is more expensive than regular tyres, but of course you can change them if you want to, but they are the correct pattern, and they really do suit it in my opinion. It's the correct tread pattern as the back end of original tyres, and it's got an original Sinclair tyre on the front, which is perfectly good, perfectly usable, or you can change it for a modern tyre if you so wish. Front tyres are pretty damn cheap. It's a grey boot model because it's an early Sinclair C5. So you can see here it's a January 85. So it's all complete. Electronics are all working. Nice rear lights here. Got some damage just in the corner here, as you can see, but there's no sort of particularly bits missing on it. It's just got some damage just here. The rest of it looks pretty decent. Like I say, it's a great grey boot model. It's got all the bits and bobs. It's all working basically. Underneath it's got the usual sort of normal light sort of surface corrosion underneath, nothing particularly bad, just traditional Sinclair C5. In here it's got this battery top which came with it, so you won't ever realistically use that, but it's in there in case you want to do anything with it, or display it, or clean it, or chuck it, or whatever. I'm in the back. I spent a lot of time cleaning up this area. Obviously secured it nice and neatly now, fixed electronics. I'm going to cable tie the wiring to the chassis. Now I know that, now I've done a test drive and I know it works, because I didn't want to do that until I tested it in case I needed to remove that. Repaired the electronics, put my little sticker on there just showing it it's July 2022. Fully rebuilt the motor, runs absolutely smooth as you like. This was the part that was broken, so that's been replaced with a replacement part. It's an early Sinclair C5, so it's an early motor, so you've got the short output shaft, if you can see that. Yeah, short output shaft here, plus the fin belt. My suggestion to the new owner is, whilst that is completely fine, the later ones are better, because the later ones have a longer output shaft and or a wider belt. So I'd say 100% order yourself a 15mm wide belt from Sam Rowell, get it in place, because that way it's much more on the cog there, because these ones tend to overhang. So completely fine, but the wide belts are much more reliable because they're more likely to stay on. Just that's the tip basically. About 7 or 8 quid. I did remove the hoop and just gave it a token rub down prime and paint, because it was all flaking and just really bad. I thought I've got to do that at least, I cleaned up all the drive gear, cleaned up all the bearings. This part here I've replaced. Got photographs of that, because the brake lever had obviously had some sort of issue, so it completely worn it out, and then it snapped the lower carrier here. So I replaced an entire unit from another Sinclair C5, so that's good to go now. Obviously the brakes will need using and bedding in and all that sort of stuff. Pads up front are used, but work fine basically. So again, you could replace it, or I just suggest you fit John Webster front disc brake kit up front. Absolutely worth it, the best upgrade you can get on any C5. But yeah, that's all fully rebuilt, early motor, say good tyres. Yeah, it's all ready to go. I fitted quick release connectors onto it today, and obviously just adjusted the wiring to make it optimal and the right length. Repainted this. Switch works perfectly for the lights. Underneath it's just normal surface corrosion. It's not restored underneath, so it's original paint. You can clean it and detail it whatever you want to do, or just leave it, you know, whatever. Plugging in this, lights come on here, and if I just prop this up on here quickly, off the ground. So yeah, it all runs. I mean, I've driven up and down the road quickly for 5 minutes, and it drives really nicely, steers nice and straight. I am going to take it out on Saturday and give it a good old go around the block, you know, for sort of 20 minutes to make sure that it is absolutely reliable and electronics don't flicker off and all this sort of stuff. It seems to be good so far, you know. But yeah, it's a sale, and I say the new owner they can give it a good old scrubbing. All of this, you know, I've scrubbed it, but this will all come off, you know, nice. Obviously you can't get the scratches out, but you better get it all nice and clean, physically much cleaner than that, so it'll look nice once the new owners have scrubbed it and cleaned it. And I say I would suggest that they would replace the belt for a wider one from Sam. And you know, you can look out for centre caps if you want original ones, but honestly these are really good. You can rub these down to make them nice and smooth. Maybe a little bit of time on that, and happy days.